Auto Pros on the Road is sponsored by Fram, manufacturers of high-quality filters since 1934. Visit fram.com to learn more.
Tell me, Joe, where are we headed today?
We are going to go visit a gentleman named Dutch at A&M Auto Service, just outside of Charlotte, Pineville. Well, I guess we're going to go in here and see what Dutch has to offer us. Show us around a little bit.
Let's see if they're ready for us.
Oh,
good morning.
Well, good morning.
What a great showroom.
Thank you so much for letting us stop by.
It's I'm nice. A dealership all of a sudden.
Okay, let's have a nice fancy feel.
A lobby.
Lobby.
It is a beautiful lobby.
Lobby, Joe. It's a lobby.
It is beautiful.
How are you? Dutch Silverstein.
Jacqui, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Jacqui Van Ham. Pleasure. Thank you so much for letting us stop by and check out your beautiful, beautiful shop.
You're very welcome.
Absolutely. Looks great. This lobby is very inviting, very open and airy, and welcoming too as well. It doesn't feel like as you've said, a dirty man cave. It doesn't have that feel.
No, there's no odor of tires around, no displays of shocks or any of that sort of stuff. I wanted people to come in and think of it as a professional business, not necessarily the stereotypic garage. It looks more like a doctor's office in my respect. If you look, there's only pictures on the wall that have to do with car systems, 2 places. The rest is aviation, my first love.
It's fantastic.
You want the brief tour?
Yeah, we'd love to take a look around and see what's going on in the rest of the building.
Okay, this is the kids' room. We put them in here, seal the door, suck the oxygen out of the room. They go to sleep and leave everybody else alone. It works out really, really well. No, we don't have to do
this. This is the cage.
This is the kid cage, right? We're putting because really, who likes children?
That's right.
When it comes down to it. So you don't want them running around.
But this is why the ratings are so high. Everyone's like, yeah, bring the kids here.
Yeah, bring the kids here. He puts them to sleep. Everything's fine. Yeah. Mom and Dad go out. They get a date. They come back the next morning at school. We keep Cheetos in there and a little bit of water. They're fine. You know, you can pay some adults to watch them. It's okay.
Great.
We've got TV that's set up in there, and we've got DVDs that play of Frozen and stuff, and I turn the volume on as loud as I can, and then probably leave.
All jokes aside, though, I do love all this attention to detail that obviously you're paying good mind to, you know, with a space for children to come in. That way that's very family oriented. You've got some nice snacks, very customer service heavy. It already feels like that immediately when you walk in the door.
Okay, so here's money, because you've just said some really nice things. I can tell you if it comes down to it. Let me introduce you to the staff. This is Jennifer. I've never met the woman before. I just dragged her off the street so she could come in.
She seems real nice.
She's eye candy. She comes in here.
Absolutely. Very photogenic. This is great to have on camera.
You're eye candy too? Yeah. I know, but I like your feet better because they're just tiny feet. You have just small feet. I've never seen anything like that.
This is why I have her from easy on the plane too.
Yeah, you don't even have to be here. You basically, we're going to share a moment.
Okay. Oh, good.
So there's Scott. Scott's one of my customers for going on now 16 years. Fellow back there that you don't want to talk to because he knows too much dirt about me, that's John Dilworth. He's my manager and writer.
Hey, John. How you doing?
The snack area, which you've seen, you're welcome to have any of this stuff. It's all free. So if you're in the film industry, it's going to be gone by the time you guys leave.
What's going on right over here, though? I see some nice, pretty crystal.
I'm a real big supporter of veterans, especially the Marine Corps veterans.
Okay.
I'm a member of the Marine Corps League, so these are some of the awards that we received. This was one I'm most proud of. This was envisioned for the Humanitarian Award for 2020 because of all the work that I do with veterans and those in the area that are disadvantaged that need.
That's a great job. Thank you.
For
wonderful
people that need help, you know, because with COVID and everything, a lot of people are getting their butt kicked, and if you don't step up to help them, they're going to be lost.
That's wonderful. My brother is a former Marine, so.
Nice.
Appreciate your helping with them. That's nice.
No worries. Coffee and all that sort of stuff. I know you probably want some. I understand it makes your feet grow.
That's what keeps them small.
It keeps them small. Here's snack. All right, for the rest of the crew, come on, you hungry monkeys, come on, you want them. I know you want some. Have some. What the hell's the matter with you? Here, take some of these things.
Travel
I know
snacks.
it's
Check the travel snacks,
Yeah.
boys.
All right.
Let's
here.
go see where the action is.
Our passion for protecting vehicles started in 1934, and we've been pushing the limits of performance ever since. We innovate with the times and have the right filters to fit your needs. Fram for the road ahead.
All right, come on in, let me give
All
you
right.
the grand tour.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
That's my office. Nobody goes in there.
Okay, we won't go in there.
This is our parts receiving room.
Okay.
When I first started the business here in this location in 2004, this was actually where we had the counter here, chairs were lined up there. The front office set didn't exist. Any of that which you saw was just offices that I leased out. None of that. As we were able to prosper and better serve the community, we changed this into a key and parts receiving room. So the fast movers, like air filters and other brake pads, stuff that you wind up using pretty much routinely, are stocked here. And then we make keys for vehicles here, and we also do EPROM work, which is really kind of cool. And then we have inventory up here.
So tell me a little bit about that EPROM work. Right now we know we're facing the chip shortage, manufacturers are facing it, we're seeing the delays in cars being built. We've got manufacturing places and plants laying off people right now. You know, you go into some of the lots, they're just waiting for chips.
Yeah.
And what are you doing with
Well,
that right now? How are you overcoming that?
Well, what we did is there's an excellent group of guys that go around and they give instruction, and you spend basically a day to 2 days, depending on the course that you wind up taking, and you learn how to transfer information from old modules and then wipe used modules clean and transfer that data to them. That way, if you have a module that's bad, but the information on it is still able to be used, we can transfer it to another one. It's called virginizing. And then installing that in the car. You can write the VIN and do stuff. So that way someone isn't stuck, because you can't get the modules anymore. So you wind up getting them used, and then you blank them, and then upload the information to it. And you can do that several different ways through OBD2. You can also wind up you disassemble it, and you're pulling the chips off the board.
That's great.
It's the same thing with keys. You know, it's some dealers, you have to go, you give them the VIN number, then you wait a week, and you get it back. And we typically, our turnaround's in a day.
Definitely want to talk more to you about that.
Okay.
I can't help but point out while we were in this room, you know, the beginnings of your business. I also love the sign over the door, complaint resolution device.
Resolution device.
Resolution device.
Yeah, that was actually, I love that.
It's fun too,
Yeah,
and it's fun.
Yeah, you know.
It's a good thing it's made out of wood, because there's a lot of techs who'd be like, "Give me that thing."
There's no question about it. Yeah. What do you mean you want me to do a test drive and it's on E and the light's on? Where do you think I'm gonna go?
To the nearest gas station.
I love that also gives you like a little bit of a peek into your personality and the personality of this business. You know, there's a little bit of levity here. There is a little bit of sense of humor here. Just from meeting you 3 seconds ago, I can already tell that you're
well, I'm a nut.
that you're a bit of a live wire. And I think we're going to have our hands full today, but I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Let's take a look around.
This building was a little different in that this used to be a trucking building. So we came over and converted this building, added all the lighting to make it bright. The doors used to be, when they were first put in 2004, were steel, and then we changed it to glass through here, so it's better for curb appeal. And we also added this canopy setup that's here, so now the guys can work on multiple cars at a time. So by constructing these canopies, now it's out of the shade, it gives them another work area. The weather doesn't come in. It's nice.
It is.
All right, watch your step.
It's really nice. I love all this glass.
Then we go over here. We've got one of our alignment machines here. 4-post lift, nut and bolt assortment, state inspection menu. Got this here. This is where we do work on one of these is Chad. I don't know if he's hiding or he could be. Anyway.
He heard you coming. He knew
Yeah,
he had to go.
He knew, he's like, I gotta get the hell out of here. So when I first came in, I had these bays, these 2 bays. I sublet these 2 bays from the owner of the building. And I could work outside on the concrete in that bay. That was a 2-post. We changed that to a 4-post for the trucks. So when we have 3 techs, right now we're down to 2. When we have 3, each has their own workstation that they can use so they can access the work records. We can amend them so they can see it in real time. Don't have to worry about any of that. And then here, this is the baby. This is, and we're pretty heavy on diagnostics. Most of the factory tooling here. We've got picoscope, ATS, BCM, licensed, pretty much everything.
Altimeter?
Yeah, altimeter. It's a legitimate altimeter for cross-referencing map sensors. We'll head outside. Let's leave it to be. Oh my God, I'm working with children.
Trivia, cars, it's everything.
What we have is I set up another outdoor lift here.
Oh, nice.
And again, canopy structure so that, and there goes Chad, and there goes Chad. So that people can still work outside, not worry about getting wet, and we stack the work.
So, but this is nice because let me ask you, how often or how much of the year can you actually work outside in Charlotte?
About 3/4.
Really?
Yeah.
So we do not get this option in Cleveland. We don't have outdoor lifts, and I know as you start making your way down south, you see it more often. I just was wondering, 3/4 of the year, so that's actually a good investment for you to use it out here.
Our passion for protecting vehicles started in 1934, and we've been pushing the limits of performance ever since. We innovate with the times and have the right filters to fit your needs. Fram for the road ahead.
Thanks for showing me around, introducing me to some of the folk you have here, looking at your future of where you're headed with the ADAS system and that you're going to be bringing that on board. You know, one of the things about this show is I look for the most unique shops that stand out. Ratings are one thing. You can read a Google review and hear somebody say that they love you. You can go on your website and I can read all about you, and I did. And one of the things that really struck me as interesting was your About You section. You got into talking about how you got started. We did a little bit of that on the tour as well, but I don't think really people understood exactly what it is unless they go to your website and read about it. Some of the hints that were around here were some of the aviation pictures in the front lobby there. Your altimeter in the back that I took a shining to as well. Tell us a little bit about.
You didn't steal that from me, did you?
I don't know anything. If it's gone,
if it's in the truck, I'm nowhere.
I'm not telling you what hotel I'm at. I'm just saying. So, tell us how you got started, because you've got a unique story getting into automotive. A lot of people, hey, they go to school, they start cars. You went a little different route.
Well, I come from a family. We didn't have a lot of money. I mean, my mother was a school teacher. My father never graduated college. He was a photographer. And I learned from an early age, if you wanted something, you had to work for it. I absolutely believe in his infinite wisdom that the good Lord gives everybody gifts. Some people are good athletes. Some people are good musicians. Some people are good with language or math. I always had the ability to understand how things work. Well, I fell in love with aviation when I was very, very young. And my father said, well, if you want to take flying lessons, that's cool. I'll match you dollar for dollar. Well, the only thing that I knew how to do to earn money was to fix stuff. And I started out with stupid stuff, bicycles, scooters. You start out, you're young, whatever you can get, lawnmowers. And that's what I did to help when I worked through high school, and then worked at a service station where I lived for a while. That was fun. Because it was a different time. I mean, if your boss thought you did something wrong, he called you a knucklehead, but not using that terminology. And you just sucked it up and went, okay, I'm a knucklehead, and that's all.
Yeah.
Then went to college, but in order to get to college, I had to get student loans and I had to pay for it. Well, the way to do that was to work on cars. So ultimately, I wound up chasing flying jobs, and I got hired on after several commute airlines with a major carrier. And back in 2004. So I had my business part-time where I was fixing cars, because aviation's incredibly cyclical. When things are going good and the economy is good, you're moving up in rank, your pay increases, everything's great. When the economy goes down, you get let go pretty quickly. So I went back to what I knew, which was I'd fly, and then on my days off, I'd fix cars. So I worked 7 days a week for 9 years. I didn't take a day off, just so that I could save up enough money so that I could eventually do this full-time if I wanted to as a backup plan, because I knew I could be let go.
Yeah.
I mean, I had moved up to captain and back to first officer as the airline I worked for declared bankruptcy twice.
Wow.
So
So you were, I mean, again, commercial pilot,
yeah,
flying the bigger planes.
767, 757, 737, 200, 300, 400, Airbus A319, 320, 321.
And now we're back to the industry, again, the airline industry needing people.
Yeah.
So it is that that cyclical kind of rotation that you were talking about.
Yeah.
And you just decided to keep this full time.
Well, the thing was, I went for a routine physical, and the results of the physical indicated that I might have leukemia. So they go through a bunch of tests, and then you wind up going on chemotherapy and a whole bunch of stuff nobody really gives a crap about. But ultimately, what happens is the FAA says, yeah, you can't fly anymore.
So obviously you've been blessed with a great building, a lot of space, a lot of advancements that you're looking into. You've done really well with keeping up with technology. And so tell me a little bit about your crew and your philosophy on how you run your business and how you keep your crew as a one working unit.
Well, it takes a long time to find the people to gel. You know, you can hire really, really great techs, but if they don't contribute to the culture, it's a problem. So Chris, who's my lead tech, I heard about him through the Auto Shop Owners Group, and I moved him and his family from Kansas to get him here because his technical ability was beyond reproach. I wasn't worried about that, but I knew that he would fit. Chad's been with me for 7 years behind that. The guys that were with me before were 10 years and 11 years.
So culture is something that you are obviously looking for when it comes to getting a tech in the door, which you can't find on a resume. So how do you do that? What is your process on that?
I have three, basically it's fallen out of favor because it takes so much time, and with the tech shortage, a lot of people just want to get people in the door. But telephone interview, in-person interview, then I take them and their significant other out to dinner, and then walk them back through the shop and let them see part of the financials.
To be honest, as a former tech, I've never heard of an interview process quite like that. And somebody who cares that much about the culture of whether or not just can you fix the car, but can you fit in the company. And you had brought up some of the tech shortage right now. What's it been like trying to find techs right now?
It's difficult because, and I'm grateful because I'm happy to see that techs finally have leverage. For many, many years, techs didn't. And they were told that they were lucky to have work and they were treated like crap. So I'm glad to see that now techs have the ability to raise the industry by commanding better pay, et cetera. But there are a lot of games. You get ghosted frequently that can be played. You know, so you interview a tech, he likes it, his spouse takes the tour, likes it and everything else, and now he goes back and he gives his boss, because he's a person of integrity, that's how he made it through the 3 interviews, he says he gives him 2 weeks. And his boss says, well, what's it going to take to keep you? So now he knows the offer that he had for me, which exceeded the one that he had. So now he then, or she, because there's no reason that techs can't be great, women can't be great techs, raises it again. And typically they meet it, because it's a lot easier to pay them than to replace them. It costs a lot of money insofar to replace a tech, especially with training, tools, and equipment.
Absolutely. So what's your advice to, some of the younger techs right now, or the younger high schoolers that are thinking, cars aren't what they used to be. It's a lot more advanced. Maybe this is something I want to give a go. What would your advice be to that young individual, whether it is male or female, on how to succeed in this?
hook up with your local community college, see if there is a group. There was one here in North Carolina called the Independent Garage Owners Association of North Carolina that has apprenticeships with established curricula, so that it's not just, see, when I was coming up, when you wanted to work for somebody, you pushed a broom in a bucket for a year. And they did that to test your mettle to see if you were going to be worthwhile, if you did it without complaining. Younger people aren't going to stand for that anymore, you know. So what happens is get involved with the organization formerly known as IGONC, or there's one in your area, community college, apprenticeships, and find out. It can be a very lucrative business if you do it correctly and you work for the right people who value you.
One thing you had mentioned, and this was something I found very refreshing, was your pay structure. You said no flat rate.
No straight flat rate.
And tell us a little bit why that you're using that philosophy.
Because there's, in any transaction, there's always an inherent conflict of interest. And the reality is that you can have someone with great moral character who would never in a million years dream of taking a nickel from anybody at any time. And there are things that happen in life which put pressure on that individual. So now, if you're straight flat rate and it's been a slow week, which happens in any business, I don't care what business it is,
Yep.
and it's been a slow week, and now it's time for your rent's coming up, your mortgage is coming due, car payment, kid's sick, something. Now, the temptation to recommend a service that might not be necessary at that time, and the pressure that that can cause, can take a good person and cripple them.
Yeah, I understand it, and I think you're right on that. You know, I always thought flat rate was encouraging speed over quality. And that leads to a lot of comebacks as well, because of that extra 5 minutes you may have spent double checking your work. You just got it out the door, and for that, you know, some of the reasons you had said. Yeah. So what's next for you right now? I mean, you said a little bit of the ADOS. Where do you see yourself in the next couple of years heading?
Probably going to take you guys to lunch, especially that one. Maybe get her some decent shoes, because those are too damn small. But maybe with heels. Maybe that way you could, like, you know, it's a little. There you go.
Get her a booster seat. Yeah, you know, it helps.
No, you know, obviously, what I'd like to do is, at some point, retire, but not in the immediate future till I get squared away, because I'm on third generation customers.
So, Dutch, tell me, what's something that gets you going in the morning? What wakes you up, get you going, and what keeps you up at night as a...
What gets me going in the morning is knowing that I can help people. That I can make, in a really the smallest way possible, a difference in somebody's day, because I'm going to help relieve some stress, and I'm going to lift some burden. When you have somebody that comes in who's a veteran, who can't afford a repair, for what he did for me and my family, no, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. That drives me. You cannot have a veteran who's wrote a check for up to the value of his life suffer because of that. Now, I wish I had Bill Gates' money and I'd do it for everybody. I can't. But on a one-to-one basis, through the league and through the others, I can do that. What scares the hell out of me? The increasing frequency and the growth of the transaction business model.
Explain.
The model that views not developing clientele and establishing a relationship, but of focusing on car count, transactions, and devaluing technicians.
In it now, just, yeah.
Get it in, get it out, upsell the crap out of it as soon as it comes in the door, yeah. Right? Have an arbitrary sales board, you know, and have a competition between techs. Oh, okay, so Joe turned 14 hours yesterday. He's in second place with 12. And here's Henry, he was here 8 hours and he turned 8 hours. What's the matter with Henry? You can't have that crap. If you don't make this about people serving the needs of their client, and you just view this as a job that involves salesmanship, I want you to die a slow, painful death. Not pleasant, but This is not the place for salesmanship. This is the place for advocacy. People are coming to you and they don't know anything about the car, and they're entrusting you that you're not going to take advantage of them.
Dutch, I wanted to say thanks for
my
allowing
pleasure,
us
my
to
pleasure.
come in here today and look around and pick your brain a little bit. And your story's great, and everything you're doing is the way that I want to say it should be done for automotive. You know, automotive still sometimes has a little bit of a black eye in the industry and the way that it's looked at and perceived. And people like you that are educating and training these future techs and kind of getting them up, it hopefully will change the way that people look at this industry, because there's a lot to be said about this industry right now.
There's a lot good here, but the fact is the industry maintains a less than stellar reputation. Let's be candid, a lousy reputation because it's earned it. And the reason it's earned it, a lot of it has been how we've treated our people. You can't treat techs like they're pieces of equipment that can be discarded once they reach a certain point. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Dutch. I appreciate it.
Our passion for protecting vehicles started in 1934, and we've been pushing the limits of performance ever since. We innovate with the times and have the right filters to fit your needs. Fram for the road ahead.
Hey Chad, how are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Very well, Jacqui. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
Thank you.
Now you're busy back here working on this Mini, and I heard a rumor that you're also the kind of European specialist here at the shop.
That's what I do.
Yes.
Euros. Yes.
Yeah. So what's going on with this car?
Drivability issues. Customer states, it's going to limp home mode, driving it, occasionally, which is always the
Perfect.
complaint. But yeah.
Perfect. And I'm sure it's not repeating that symptom for you.
Oh,
right?
for me, no, never.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is how it always works here at the garage, right? How long have you been working here?
I've been here 7 years.
7 years.
Yes.
How long have you been a tech?
Over 20.
Okay, right on. Yeah. Always European
Always
specific?
European. That's what I cut my teeth on. So
you've been here for 7 years.
7 years.
What kind of drew you to this particular shop to want to work here for this wild man Dutch that's working up front?
Well, I was pretty much, I was uptown, and it was a long drive, and this is really close to my house, and I heard he was looking, just pop by, and it's pretty much it,
We chatted with Dutch earlier about the importance of culture here at the shop, and how important that not only, your tech, your skill set has to be on point, but also that there's a mesh, that you guys get along, that this becomes like a family vibe, was the really strong feeling I got from talking to Dutch earlier. What do you think about that?
It's nice. I mean, it's different. I mean, it's, working in other shops, it's, some are cutthroat, it's, and here's just a little laid back. I mean, the thing is, you got to be on point, get your job done and, get them in and out, but it's a lot easier, when he's got your back. So, it's nice when you could talk to the owner and all the guys up front, and they're all kind of together. So,
I was gonna say, I wonder, like, if it were me, how does it make you feel, working here, knowing that there is this huge level of trust? Because that's what it feels like. It feels like he's trusting you to do your job really well, and it's kind of letting you do your thing back here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot less stress. Even when you mess up. You just go fess up and, it's not like, oh, no, it's, hey, let's get it fixed, Yeah. So it's, it's a lot less stress in that aspect of having to worry, oh, I just broke this plastic pipe. Oh, they're going to be pissed. Well, they know stuff happens and, as long as you don't do it every day.
Do you think this idea of this team effort, this pulling together, do you think that this is the future of this business, the future of this industry? Is this where we should be headed?
Oh, yeah, it should be headed there. Yeah, definitely. I mean, granted, some people don't feel that way. They just want cars in and out fast as you can. But, it's different when you're...
This real turn and burn kind of
thing. Yeah, how it's like, oh, how some places are. But, here it's, do the job good, do it right, quick, and you have support.
Yeah. I think those are really interesting, very key words to think about, support and teamwork and trust. These are all really like positive.
Yeah, it's
very, very positive feeling words. Yeah. But I think I mean, you're the backbone of this whole business back here. You deserve all of those things.
Yeah, I mean, well, like I said, it's a team. Up there they do their thing, we do our thing back here, and you just trust that we both do it well. It flows.
Yeah, but there's opportunities with this shop and just in general to always be continuing your education.
Oh yeah, if I ever said I knew everything, you know I'm lying. There's no way. There's way too much coming fast.
I know you'd be full of it.
Oh yeah, totally.
What's the best piece of advice you've gotten working as a tech?
Eat a good lunch? I don't know.
I think that's good advice for life in general, Chad. I mean, I think an army marches on its stomach, right?
Exactly.
How exactly are you and this shop in general keeping up with this fast-paced technology that's going on with cars now?
Well, a lot of it's your tooling and scan tools and scopes, So we've been lucky enough to have a lot of factory level scan tools, to accurately diagnose, just like a dealer, and that's key nowadays because, they're actually showing you the wiring diagram why hey, this code means this and it could mean all these things. It might be guided fault finding, but this is the way things are going and what to check here and how to accurately pinpoint that component. Because, there's 4 or 5 different modules can be talking at one time. And one could just be intermittently going out. So you're chasing to get that one. You don't want to throw in something, because, the parts cannon is not, chuck a points and condenser on it anymore. It's a module. It's $1,500. You don't want to miss that, So, the tooling helps. Your multimeters, the scope, and there's a bunch of other little tools that, make your job easier.
Well, right on. Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I'll let you get back to this Mini and as you just mentioned, the diagnostics and the computers that are going on the inside, sitting in the front seat. I'll let you get back to it, but thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you letting us stop by.
Our passion for protecting vehicles started in 1934, and we've been pushing the limits of performance ever since.
Yeah.
We innovate with the times and have the right filters to fit your needs. Fram for the road ahead.
Hey, Chris. Joe, nice to meet you. How are
How's
you?
it going?
What we got today?
02 Camry.
Well, we got a kind of issue with this one.
Customer complaint was the check engine light was on.
So, Chris, Dutch was telling me a little bit about bringing you in. You're originally from Kansas, and he brought you in down here. So tell me a little bit about how that happened.
Well, I had my own shop for 8 years, and landlord basically canceled my lease, tripled my lease, which effectively canceled it.
Yeah.
And I was looking for a different place to go. Nothing really suitable for the size of shop I had. I'd collected a lot of equipment in 8 years, and honestly, I was kind of tired of dealing with it anyway. So.
How do you get a hold of you? How do you find you from Kansas? Were you looking, or he kind of a little bit of both, or?
We were both in the Auto Shop Owners group on Facebook, which is, then it was about 4,000 shop owners from across the country. And, I had made several other shop owner friends through that. And when I posted on my personal page that I was either going to go to work for someone else or move to a much smaller building and sell off a bunch of equipment, a few people reached out to me and offered me jobs, and this one was the place that I'd most prefer to move. There was
Cool. And what about how's the training and everything? Dutch keep you pretty well up on that if you need it, and
we used to do a lot of training, but then of course the pandemic hit and closed all the in-person outlets down for training. There's still some online training that we can do.
how are you keeping up with all of it right now? Basically just the online? Are you doing any other?
I read a lot, watch a lot of videos.
Okay.
I think the important thing about in-person training is the connections you make with other people. That networking is something that you can't replace with anything else. You go to a training event, you meet these guys, you get their phone number, and you say, oh yeah, I remember Matt was really good at this. I'm gonna text him, say, hey, I'm stuck on this, and might give you a direction.
Right now we're in this tech shortage. We're having a hard time getting techs. We're having a hard time getting the younger generation interested in doing this. What would be your advice right now to anybody who's thinking that I want to maybe get into automotive, what would your advice be to them?
Well, it can be a very rewarding career, both personally and monetarily.
Well, Chris, I wanted to say thanks for taking the time
Not a
and
problem,
talking to us
Joe.
today and having us out and visiting your shop and interrupting your daily workflow. But it's been fun coming out here, and thanks again. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem.
Our passion for protecting vehicles started in 1934, and we've been pushing the limits of performance ever since. We innovate with the times and have the right filters to fit your needs. Fram for the road ahead.
Dutch, I really wanted to say thank you for taking the time to walk us through and really explain your business philosophy. You know, the work you do with the Veterans Group is amazing, and the way you run your business, and let us have the opportunity to talk to your techs and get to know you a lot better. I think we had a great time, and I really got to learn a lot, and I'm really glad we picked this shop to come out here.
Absolutely. It was such a great day. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
A fun business. You're clearly very passionate about it. You do great things as a team here at your shop. Thank you so much for letting us stop by.
You're very welcome. Thank you for
Thank
taking
you.
the time to stop by. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great day. Thank you very much.
Money will be given to you shortly.
That was a fun shop.
That was a really fun shop. I'm so glad that we stopped by.
He has such a great sense of humor.
I haven't laughed that hard in a really long time. I love the sense of humor, but I love that when you were talking to him, how like choked up he got
Oh,
during your
he's obviously very, very passionate about that,
Yeah,
and
he
it
is.
shows.
It was so touching and it was so genuine, and it was just a great day.
Let's go check out some more Charlotte.
Let's definitely go check out some more Charlotte. And by some more Charlotte, I mean barbecue.
Reading about someone's About Us story always gives you a little bit of an insight of who they are, but Dutch really comes out as somebody more than that. His work with the veterans that he does with that group and helping them out, his work with the ASA and training other businesses in that more of that etiquette that he has, and the way he treats his tech as, you know, family, and his culture and the way that he wants to do things and make sure that that level of trust that he has with his customers resonates from 1 to 2 to 3 generations.